Hey everybody, my name's Red, and today we have another installment of the Echo series. So come with me as we take a journey through the apocalypse, and welcome to my world. Echoes of the Beginning, Chapter 2, 777. The memories washed from my mind. I wake with a deep sweat and heavy breathing. Those images grow stronger with each night. The pain and anguish spin in my head at a sickening pace. I sit up and calm myself from the terror of the memories. I look around the brightly lit interior of the room and study the view from the shattered window. Down the path from the skyscraper, a large open courtyard stood out in the square-shaped city. Similar to the open land I had passed before, the space was bare save for thin metal pillars that stood bent or had fallen on the ground. Unlike its larger counterpart, however, this area was small, and the brown hues had been replaced by dark gray rock. A variety of sized pictures hung on the sides of the surrounding skyscrapers, many of which depict a person smiling while holding a wide range of items. I struggled to find the meaning to these images, but the thoughts escaped me. I pushed those thoughts out of my head. Maybe the mysteries of these people are forever lost to me. I descend the stairs back into the entry of the Croaza, the light revealing the true condition of its interior. Glass and wood cover the ground. Tables are overturned and broken. The windows are shattered into jagged pieces, and clothing and bags are strewn about abandoned. I can only imagine what could have occurred to bring about this level of destruction. I walk into the street. The crunch of broken glass echoes in my mind, and with each step, flashes of dark memories and the haunting chant. A sudden brightness snaps me out of my trance. Intense light shines from the building across the way. I shade my eyes from the beautifully painful sight, and begin once again down the way of Broad. The striking beauty of these people amazes me. These skyscrapers on their own are a marvel to behold, with the art that goes into the curves and lattices of these structures. Each one a testament to a knowledge and design far greater than one would have thought possible. And yet here they stand, their graceful authority a constant reminder of those before. My fascination only intensifies as I begin to see the works that they had created. The most interesting of these creations was a large building painted in bright colors, with dozens of statues lining its walls. These statues depicted creatures with round bodies, arms and legs as a person, and faces. Each of these statues is a different color, all wearing a similar smile on their face. A red one poses with its thumb out. Another green one seems to be more feminine, wearing sleek black shoes with a high heel, and stands with its arms around its midsection. At the entryway is a broken statue, much bigger than the others. Its yellow body lay on the ground, and one of its arms is nowhere to be seen. I stepped past the broken statue. Inside, I see a similar sight to the Croaza. Shattered glass covers every inch of the ground. Small pieces of multicolored dots mix into the fragments of glass. Lining the walls were tubes and containers in a wide variety of conditions. Some were covered in filth, while others were broken apart and lay smashed on the ground. A long table sat at the back of the room. Papers and glass lay strewn about, and a large square device sits on top. The more I explore this city, the more I realize how little I truly understood about these people. I leave the statues behind me as I walk towards the courtyard I had seen earlier. As I approach the outskirts, the haunting voices returned, screaming my name. My head swirls from the pain. Feelings of nausea and dizziness overwhelm me. I collapse on the wall, my body unable to hold me as I shake uncontrollably. Images of death flash in my mind. The woman, the claw, the heart, and the blood. Waves of pain crash into me as I struggle to regain myself. And just like that, the memories subside. and I open my eyes to see the star set beyond the skyscrapers in a fiery display of orange and red. I stumble my way down the street marked 8. I pass many smaller buildings, each with shadows of writing that used to be on them. A few of these names still remain. Edison, Atkins, Barrymore, and a picture of a 4-legged animal with wings. I simply marvel at the abilities of these people. I come to a building with pictures all over it, each completely different from the rest. Names, pictures, black boards of glass that have long since shattered. A phrase is hung in bronze above the archway. It reads, 8th Avenue, New York, New York. Building number 777 steps to reach the top of the mount. At least that's what Michael had been told. He had never been able to keep track after 334. Barchiel had insisted on the number to reflect the holiness of the journey. He called it a pilgrimage, so that the angels might reflect on the perfect majesty of the Lord Most High. Michael could appreciate the sentiment, but couldn't help but feel slightly inconvenienced on being forced to walk those steps. He understood perfectly the importance of the trek, but at times like these he wished he could simply fly up to the summit without being reprimanded by the chief of the heavenly host. As Michael crested the last step of Barchiel's pilgrimage, he could see Sellafiel and Uriel standing in a group with 2 other angels. The tallest of the group, which admittedly was not a difficult task, was Barchiel. Barchiel stood at an average height for angels, of about 6'4". His short, well-kept white hair was a drastic contrast to Uriel's balding gray hair and Sellafiel's shaved black hair. His toned physique could be seen through his tight-fitting cuirass that he only removed to sleep and bathe. His hair and features framed his piercing violet eyes, which has made many lesser angels avoid eye contact while speaking with him. His wings were long and broad, coming down to mid-calf, brown, with white underfeathers perfectly clean in comparison to the other angel beside him. This other angel stood slightly shorter than the eagle-winged Barchiel, but remained taller than Uriel. He had no hair to speak of, save the tight brown beard that he kept, and his robes that seemed to be haphazardly put on, with deep cuts around the sleeves. The angel's deep brown eyes seemed to be distant, and the distinct look of fatigue was about his face. Like Barchiel, the exhausted angel had eagle-like wings, but unlike his well-kept brother, the wings took a reddish hue, and black feathers underlaid them. Scars could be seen clearly in the angel's wings, telling the tale of many battles and serious injuries he had sustained over his tenure. This was Judiel, the guardian of the saints, and from his appearance, Michael could gather that he had just returned from a mission when the summons came. "Welcome to the summit, Michael. I know you don't get the opportunity to come to see this place as often as the rest of us," he called out. "I wish I had the ability to see this place like you must see it, Michael. It pains me to say, but the wonder lessens each time I lay eyes on this holy place." Barchiel's eyes twinkled with enamored pride at the white marble temple he had so painstakingly designed to show the glory of God. Michael had always enjoyed his trips up to see the resting place of his father, but worries of battle below stole away his enjoyment of its splendor. "I still believe it would be far more impressive if we doubled it in size and stationed more angels around in full armor." A deep voice came from behind Michael, the sound of heavy armored boots echoing louder as the figure grew closer. "Though I suppose I have a different sentiment on what commanding presence means," the dry, barking voice continued. Uriel looked past Michael to the new arrival, and unperceivably to all, save Sellafiel and Michael, shrank in its presence. Michael didn't need to look to see who the voice belonged to. It was one that Michael spent many meetings debating about on how best to execute the operations on Earth. Gabriel, head of the Heavenly Guard, had arrived exactly on time to the summons. Michael turned to regard his brother, short, military-cut black hair, emerald green eyes, and square features on his face. Gabriel towered over angels like Uriel and Selathiel, but stood only 2 inches taller than Michael, at 6'8". He wore heavy, unadorned angelic armor over his already muscular build. The silver angelic plate was polished to perfection, and reflected Michael's pure white wings as he continued to march towards the circle of archangels. Black hawk wings rested behind him in a tight diamond formation that reinforced his military stature. "Michael, it has been a while since we've gotten to compare intel from the battles below," Gabriel said, with a thin line of agitation in his voice. "I would like to hear of these reports from the front lines," he finished, the agitation in his voice showing ever so briefly in his eyes. Michael knew his brother had resented him for being chosen as the general. As a result, Gabriel tried his best to stay in Michael's information loop, as a way of keeping himself relevant to the decision-making process, a tactic which Michael disapproved of, but was too busy to actively dissuade. "Of course, brother," Michael replied, mildly sarcastic, "though it might be some time before I have a spare moment to do such. Besides, we have council with father to attend." Michael looked to each of his brothers intently, studying their faces, and raised his hand to signal them to move to the temple. Abruptly, Michael stopped his hand, and with a sigh, realized that one of his brothers was not there. The other archangels looked puzzled at Michael, curious as to their brother's exhausted and agitated demeanor. They looked around, and each angel coming to the same realization. Barchiel's eyes narrowed. Red flushes of anger swelled on the angel's face. "Where is Raphael?" he asked in a soft growl. "This summons is from the Lord on high. If he is late—" The threat left open and trailed off. The archangels stood in silence as the fury in Barchiel continued to rise. A distant yell broke the tense silence. "I'm here, sorry for the wait," a youthful, rich voice cried out from above. A handsome, tanned angel flew hurriedly down to the group, red, curly hair and similar red sparrow-like wings flapping about in the air. The angel landed a few paces from the group, transitioning from flying to walking without missing a step, a feat not many angels could manage, let alone at the speed with which the young angel was flying. Michael couldn't help but be impressed. He would expect nothing less of the chief messenger of angels. "Why are you late?" barked Gabriel. "Do you not understand the importance of these summons?" he angrily questioned, his square features creasing into a frightening glare. Raphael simply shrugged. "I was out on a delivery, and I heard the summons after I had got back. I did get here as fast as I could." Sensing his brother Barchiel's glare at his back, Raphael coyly asked, "Or would you rather I had taken the stairs?" A sly grin creeped across his face. "Were you told what the summons was for, Uriel?" Michael questioned, trying to interfere with the brewing conflict. His brother, being the head watcher and librarian of sorts in heaven, was kept more informed than the rest of the archangels of such matters. Uriel's expression changed to a face of worry. "No, Michael, I wasn't." He stopped suddenly and gazed into Michael's burning amber eyes. "Which means it's something that will not be on the record." Michael immediately knew why the owl-winged archangel was worried, as did all the archangels, except for Gabriel and his stoic indifference. The last time a summons was called with no pretense was when God had decided to flood the earth.